Affairs, Dr. Brian Martinson, if he wants to also wave, he's back there, for being a rock star and helping student government address our idea and big theme this year of making college more affordable by truly looking at course fees and other financial barriers to student success. I truly hope you continue that work to break down those barriers with our successors. I don't think she can hear me, but the seventh person is Associate Vice President for Undergrad Ed, Dr. Jennifer Veltzos. I think she can hear, probably not. I just wanted to recognize her I could not leave her Dean of the Year out from this list. Did Kara laugh at that one? No, she didn't. Dr. Veltzos helped co-author the Recognition of Student Government Policy, which is designed to increase and further define student consultation, but also other things she has done and will do for student success. Thank you. Eighth, and she's not here with us, former student body president Anissa Omar. I don't think I would be here today without Anissa Omar and her having me as her vice president. We grew closer as colleagues and as friends, and I consider our friendship one of the most valuable things as I graduate. She truly opened my eyes and has helped me define who I am today. Ninth, second to last, sorry, is outgoing Vice President Arnavi Maltari. She's right here. Who has been very crucial in advocating for our international student population. Because Arnavi is so nice and never recognizes how important she is and all the work she does on behalf of students, I just want to say thank you. Let me be clear and say that she is one of the best vice presidents a president could ask for, and that's coming from former vice president. I just wanted to say thank you and wish her best going forward as vice chair of Students United, which is a great achievement as well. Lastly, I don't think he's here with us either, maybe online, but President Richard Davenport, who I've gotten the honor and privilege to work with over the past 2.5 years. Every meeting we've had has been honest, transparent, and he has sought our input. He truly puts students at the table and to make sure that decisions were student success focused. And while he will be driving around an RV, I wish him the best and happy retirement. I want to continue on and reflect back on my 2 years in student government leadership. I am proud to say that we've really shown what the power of student government is and how important our work is to the campus community. From creating a food pantry, getting rid of hopefully, Mr. Cowan, getting rid of the online tuition differential, to increasing our advocacy to the city council, we have shown that student government can enact meaningful change. The question I hear a lot from people is that we are not included at the decision-making table, but I will challenge the 89th student government and future student governments to ensure they are at the table, because the question is not if we're included or heard, but rather if we're there to give our opinions and thoughts. We as students have to make a collective effort to be at the table and to be informed and engaged. This is my challenge to next year's group, to seek out those opportunities beyond just student government and get their voice heard. Another funny comment I've heard from students, administrators, to even my own family, is why would you want to be a student body president during a pandemic? Referring to the fact I missed out on opportunities like homecoming, football games, and everything else, the fun stuff. My simple reply is that while student leadership roles have the fluff of being in the news, attending conferences, speaking at rallies, not having this fluff has allowed me to focus on what matters and what I was elected to do, which is to advocate and represent the students. COVID-19 has shown the cracks at the university, and I have and still do view student government's role as trying to pave those cracks. My message for next year's leadership is to ignore the fluff and continue the hard, endless work of advocating for students. A global pandemic, while it has disrupted our lives, has allowed us to address and solve long-standing goals and problems at the institution. As I leave office as student body president, I could not have been prouder over the work that 88 student government has accomplished. Things like keeping student fees low, creating a rock garden for fraternity and sorority life, increasing funding for the Maverick food pantry, and by solving long-standing financial issues at the university, to name a few of our achievements, and also the most legislation. Good luck. Our impact in various areas will leave big shoes to fill for the 89th student government and future years. All senators, coordinators, and executives from the 88th student government should pat themselves on the back for truly going above and beyond this past year, even during a pandemic. I wanted to say thank you to the student body for entrusting me in this position over this past year. It has truly been an honor of my life to serve and advocate for our student body. I'm truly going to miss this experience and position, but I'm confident that it is in good hands with President-elect Stiff and Vice President Sfursel. I leave everybody with this quote by Jim Rohn, which gives themes to this year, which is, "The challenge of leadership is to be strong, but not rude, be kind, but not weak, be bold, but not bully. Be thoughtful, but not lazy. Be humble, be humble, but not timid. Be proud, but not arrogant. Have humor, but without folly. Thank you again for allowing me to serve and represent, and now I'll welcome Vice President Maltari for her address.
For a second, I thought I lost my speech. It's here. So, hello everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Arnavi Maltare, and I have served 88 student body vice president. I joined student government as a senator at large, where I made some really good friends, and I got to work with a lot of great minds around our school. I also got to work with some great projects with President Omar and Vice President Andrew Trenny during that time. For the coming years, few people asked me to run as vice president, and I was like, who, me? I cannot be a good vice president. And I never thought it was a great idea. But then, rest is history. Trust me, joining student government was one of the best things I've done, and I've made some good friends, and I've learned a lot during this year. Talking about the year, I feel like when we got elected, we had no clue what was going on. He wanted to be president during the pandemic, and I'm like, what are we gonna do? But we always find things to work on, and we did, and we made things happen. For everything that has been talked, there's a lot of people I would like to thank. Of course, the first one would be Mr. Trenny. He has worked for me with me for the whole year, and we ended up being a good duo, didn't we? Where is he? He's at the back. Well, I'm definitely hard to work with, I say, but he says otherwise. Every time I get nervous about anything, take this speech, for example. I'm nervous, I'm shaking right here. He goes, I trust you with it, you'll do great, you'll do amazing. And these words are enough for me, to give, this is a little push for me to do things. I wish Andrew all the best with everything he plans to do. I know he's gonna do great with everything he works on. And he's just walking around, I'm guessing. Someone who also ended up being my friend is Madam Speaker, now Vice President-elect, who has been nothing but a wonderful person to work with. She has always been a strong advocate, and she is someone who I can always go to for advice, and I can just go and talk to her. I cannot wait for Rihanna and Kara to see what they can achieve for the next year. One special thanks would go to all the coordinators and our senators who have been consistent with the work they have been doing and have found all the projects during the pandemic to work on, and they've contributed their time for this year. So do you think all of this we could have done alone? No, I have a 911, that's John. So our to-go person is John. Every time something happens, you just go to John. John is someone, I think anything I would say is less, because he has been I would say he's the backbone of student government, who guides and explains us all the pros and cons of situation whenever required. More than this, John has always been a person I can rely on. So thank you so much for being the awesome person you are, and thank you for all the guidance for this year. Talking about backbone of SG, I got to know Amber through student government, and she has been an amazing person. Amber has been helpful. She's a lovely person to work with. I've asked her the silliest questions, and she would happily answer those in the office. She's made the office more welcoming than anyone could have ever. And along with that, Allison, who is also the office worker, she has been awesome, and they have both been amazing to work with. I say this a lot, that you seek and you shall find. And in this case, of MSU, you will always get help when you ask for help. There are some people who me and Andrew have worked with, and they've always proved the saying right for me. I've worked on multiple projects around CSU, and the person who has always helped us is Mr. Mark Constantine. He's right there again. He has been there for us all the time. Me and Andrew would just go to his office, ask him multiple questions, and he would happily answer it for us. So yeah, thank you so much, Mark, for all your guidance as well. One more person who has helped us is Robert. You all have heard everything we have said about Robert. He's been really helpful. And thank you. Big cheers to Robert and his team as well. There are a lot of administrators we have met during this year, and they've been really helpful. They have tried their best to support students, find a middle ground when there's multiple groups involved, and who have helped us achieve our goal. So I will just share my best memories with them. Dr. Jones, I still remember the podcast we did. It was the most fun memory I have with you. Dean Dolman, thank you for always hearing us out for our international student population and anything we have worked on. Dr. V, I love the lessons I have always learned from you, and where you say you speak more when Andrew is not around is the best, best thing I've heard so far. Provost Cecil, I love your stories that you told us during the meetings, and I've learned a lot from them. Vice President Straka for finding a middle ground whenever situations were hard. Vice President Morris for working on the food pantry and listening to us every time we had a issue or we had a struggle. So Dean Janey for all the hard work she has put in return to learn teams with us, and I really appreciate how she liked the individual input of every student. Dr. Martin sir for all their support with projects we have done with him. Vice President Johnson with all his presentations and cool technology stuff in our Senate meetings. And with that, I would like to thank President Davenport for all his work, and I'm glad I got to work with some amazing people around student government. I've learned a lot these years, and I'm glad I got to work under the presidency of Dr. Richard Davenport. Last thank you to everyone who's here and everybody who's made student government run smoothly. I wish Rihanna and Kara a successful future, and once again, I cannot wait for the things you get to accomplish. Last time, I yield.
So now I will welcome our president-elect up to swear her in. So if she wants to come to this podium, and we'll swear her in. This is a sad moment. I'm done after this. And while she's come up here, yes, I do have my vacation planned. Somewhere warm. So if you want to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Did you turn the microphone on?
I, Rihanna Stiff,
Will represent and serve
will represent and serve
the students of Minnesota State University, Mankato
the students of Minnesota State University, Mankato
in student life
in student life
and academic needs,
and academic needs,
and will uphold the mission,
and will uphold the mission,
Constitution,
Constitution,
and bylaws
and bylaws
of the student government.
of the student government.
I so affirm.
I so affirm.
Congratulations, Madam President. Come over here.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone, and hello. My name is Rihanna Stiff, and I'm elated to introduce myself to you all now as the newly elected student body president. Thank you. I want to start this speech first and foremost by thanking God and my support system. There is no way I could have made it this far without the Creator and the people who have supported me all along the way. I would also like to thank a few special friends who helped Kara and I through our campaign. These people include Andrew Trini, Emma Gabbert, Emma Zelmer, and of course, John Bulcock. A special thank you to Anissa Omar and Arnavi Maltari. I met Arnavi in the student government office my sophomore year when I was interested in joining student government, and she was then an at-large senator. She walked me through all the ins and outs of being a senator and what that would entail for me. Without her, I couldn't have made it this far. I'd also like to thank Anissa Omar, which is the 87th student body president. She actually told me one of the most eye-opening things ever, which was that I sleep on myself. And for those of you who don't know what that term means, it basically means that while I do have potential and I do have promise, I sometimes I hide behind that. And so since then, when I noticed that other people were noticing my imposter syndrome, I have stepped up a lot and made sure that I take the opportunities as they are presented to me. Some of you I've met with and worked with, and some of you I still have to get to know. In efforts to help you get to know me a little better, I'd like to share where I come from with you all. I was born to a mother from the suburbs of Chicago and a father who was born in the South and then migrated to the metro area of St. Louis and eventually the southern farmland of Illinois, where him and my mother settled and raised me. I am the product of a praying grandmother who raised a single mother who then raised me. My mother, Regina Prater, may have not always had what she wanted, but made sure that I always had what I needed. And though he is no longer with us, for 19 years, I had an adoring and dedicated father who scolded me when I ever even doubted or thought about doubting my capabilities. During my lifetime, I've been blessed with 2 sisters who have absolutely contributed to the success of my education. Stephanie, through her faith and encouraging conversations, constantly reminds me of our late father's love for us. And Misha, my confidant, who has also been my unwavering warrior and cheerleader, is my best friend and sister all in one. With these people, I was raised in a small town in southern Illinois of 700 as the population. Also, thank you to the same family for surprising me today and coming all the way to Minnesota from Illinois, and especially my uncle who traveled all the way from Chicago. To now think that I will represent a constituency with a larger population than the town I used to be from kind of still amazes me. Yet all of this has been made possible by this institution. I have chosen to lead the student body because I believe in the students, faculty, and staff that populate this campus. As I often tell others, the education, leadership training, and opportunities that have been presented to me here, I would have not gotten anywhere else. During my term, I plan to focus on the basic needs of students, such as their access to a safe place to stay and meals to eat. I want to work with local government and re-examine and challenge the practices of off-campus housing while exploring more options for affordable student housing throughout Mankato. Among other legislative priorities, I want to bridge the opportunity gaps between students like myself, students of color, and white students so that those who attend MNSU well after I'm gone can thrive no matter the geographic and ethnic background from which they come. And overall, I want to set a high standard so that the next generation of young leaders after myself can be empowered to be both student and community leaders. With all that being said, to be quite honest with you all, I cannot say that I never saw myself here. I have always dreamed of being a leader and an advocate for others. And even though I couldn't quite see the path that would get me here, I knew my time to represent the interests of others was coming. What I have learned from this journey is that leadership is synonymous with service. Being a leader is less about being in charge and more about how you charge forward. I can tell this crowd today in all sincerity that I plan to charge forward, leading with integrity and grace for myself, my executive team, and for others. Self-serving leaders have proved to be the most ineffective, and I can tell you guys that I don't plan on being an ineffective leader. Being a respected leader inevitably entails being one that serves the needs of others besides oneself. There's a lot about me and student life that I still have to learn, but there's much I also know already. Minnesota State has given me the opportunity of a lifetime to represent the largest student body of any Minnesota State institution. I do not take this lightly. 14,000 students I have sworn to represent, and 14,000 students I shall serve. Thank you, Kara, for agreeing to take this journey on with me, and thank you, Minnesota State University, Mankato. I hope I will make you proud.
Madam Vice President-elect, may I have you on stage? Can you raise your right hand and say out, repeat it after me? I state your name.
I, Kara Seversal,
Your mic is...
I, Kara Seversal,
will represent and serve
will represent and serve
the students of Minnesota State University, Mankato
the students of Minnesota State University, Mankato
in student life
in student life
and academic needs,
and academic needs,
and will uphold the mission,
and will uphold the mission,
Constitution,
Constitution,
and bylaws
and bylaws
of the student government.
of the student government.
I so affirm.
I so affirm.
Her speech.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kara, and I am so honored and grateful to be standing here today as your student body vice president. I would simply not have had this opportunity without the constant support of my friends, families, and teachers. I'm beyond thankful to have had the privilege of having so many people in my life take the time to guide me and invest in me. I want to thank Connie Baszler, Mr. Bilgen, Mr. Laughlin, Cody Dormsegard, and my Aunt Alana for pushing me to be all that I am capable of, but doing so with love. As I reflect back on what has led me to this spot, I think about my 11-year-old self. Both today and at age 11, there was no one who I looked up more to than my siblings Adam and Aaron. My love and respect for them runs so deep that I have followed in their example and looked to them for direction, even when it led me to passions outside of theirs. So when my brother Adam came home from college for a semester, I did everything in my power to spend time with him and convince him that I was his cooler younger sister. What Adam liked, I liked. So when Adam started watching a 90s political drama called The West Wing, I saw this as the perfect opportunity to spend more time with him without getting shooed out of the room. So every day, when I got home from school, we would watch this hour-long show together. I started watching because of Adam, but what I quickly realized was that I connected with the material in a way that I hadn't expected. Of course, as an 11-year-old, most of the dialogue went right over my head. So in an effort to understand what I was so fascinated by, I would sneak into my brother's room when he was gone and steal his DVD box set and watch each episode 3 times to try and understand what was happening. I'm not sure that Adam noticed my improved comprehension, but in doing so, I gained something greater. I began to develop a passion for government and for public service. That passion and drive to make a difference is what has carried me through. The leadership that I saw in that show influenced the traits that I try to take with me now. I think the best leaders lead with empathy and a humble heart. They lead from a position of service and see themselves not as larger than life, but as a small part in a larger mission. No one exemplifies this like my mom. After a lifetime in education, my mom has done more than her fair share of service, but continues to lead anyway. And all that I hope to do in this role and in my rest of my life, I hope that I am able to model her example. My journey in student government started my freshman year. About a month into school, former Speaker Zelmer approached me about running in a vacancy election. I was hesitant. I felt underqualified, like there was no way that I could represent students when I had so quickly just become one. But for any of you who know former Speaker Zelmer, she can be very, very convincing. So I decided to run. And once elected, I dove into the work. I tried to learn everything that I could about students in the university. As I was learning to be a student myself, I began working on the issues that students deal with. And the issues that students face are significant and varied, and Rihanna and I intend to tackle them head on. Student hunger is rampant across the country, and our university is no exception. But hunger and homelessness should not be a part of the student experience. So we intend to build upon the resources that we have and work towards centralizing them into a one-stop shop for students in crisis. We also know that in order to graduate, students need to be able to afford school. So we will work to push to freeze tuition and reduce costs in fees and textbooks. But although we know the challenges for students remain great, their resilience proves greater. I look forward to working with the university so that our shared mission of student success continues to be a reality for all who seek an education here. The faculty, staff, and administration at this university truly care for students, and that's evident both in their words, but more importantly, in their actions. So I want to highlight Karen Anderson, Bryce Matthews, Dr. Fitzsimmons, John Bulcock, Amber Enns, Emma Zelmer, Anissa Omar, and of course, Andrew and Arnaby, for their tireless work for this university and their individual encouragement of me. Finally, as I close out this speech, I want to reflect on a quote from The West Wing that has stuck with me since that first time I watched with my brother. In the 4th season, President Bartlett says, Every time we think we've measured our capacity to reach a challenge, we look up and are reminded that that capacity may as well be limitless. This job will come with challenges, but I am proud to have my friend Rihanna by my side as we learn not only to overcome them, but to create something better. Thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to serving my student body.
Can I have the 89th student academic affairs senator on stage, please? If you guys are here, and if you are on Zoom, please turn on, no, actually no Zoom, sorry. If you guys are here, please come on stage.
For those of you unaware with the terminology, that means that if your constituency is one of the academic colleges, you are a senator for an academic college.
Raise your right hand and repeat it after me. I state your name. Will represent and serve the students of Minnesota State University, Mankato in student life and academic needs, and will uphold the mission, constitution, and bylaws of the student government. I so affirm. Thank you so much.
So the last thing in our program is swearing in the student life senators. So those are on-campus students, res life, off-campus, student body at large, CSU board is in there. Where's Emma Gabbert? So if you guys are in any of those areas, please come forward to be sworn in. Yeah, Audrey almost missed it. If you guys want to come over here. If you guys want to get kind of like to the microphone, kind of, stand closer to it. Okay. Get up there. Okay. All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Joey Dovek,
Will represent and serve
will represent and serve
the students of Minnesota State University, Mankato
the students of Minnesota State University, Mankato
in student life
in student life
and academic needs,
and academic needs,
and will uphold the mission,
and will uphold the mission,
Constitution,
Constitution,
and bylaws
and bylaws
of the student government.
of the student government.
I so affirm.
I so affirm.
Congratulations, senators. And then I will say, new senators and sworn in, if you guys can also stay back, we'll take pictures of you guys, headshots for Mr. Cowan for our thing. And so yes, that is the end of our program. I just want to remind everyone we still have more food, so please go get more. I can't eat it all, and I'm not taking any home, so please get more of it. I just wanted to say thank you again to all our senators. If you were a senator this year, we didn't recognize you yet, but if you could stand up. Everyone that was a senator this year. For one final applause. So you all will do great things. I just want to say thank you, and thank you to the families that are here as well. I wish I didn't have one last year, so, but yeah. So again, we have more food. Stay back if you guys want to mingle, and Lenny will take photos, of course. So again, thank you for being here.
It's okay. We got one good. We got one.
I forgot one thing. We have COVID tests to take home. Now, I need boxes to move out of my office, so if everyone could take at least one, that would be cool. Thank you. They're outside, so.